Good morning. This is, I believe, our last case of the morning. We freed up Attorney Truckee to go do a sentence next door with Judge Pattison. Except I didn't know Judge Pattison was going to talk that long. But he's finished his 10:30 case next door, and we're ready to do our last case of the morning. Title of the case is People versus Angela Jean Cupp. The file number is 25234FD. Are you Angela Cupp?
Yes.
She's here with her lawyer, Mr. Ross Truckee. Also here is prosecuting attorney Deborah Davis. The complaint alleges that you were operating a motor vehicle with a high blood alcohol, causing a serious injury with a prior conviction. If you combine all of those things, it makes it a felony, punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment, a high BAC, serious injury, prior conviction. That is punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $5,000 and not less than $10,000. It's alleged that you have a previous conviction in Kalamazoo County. But that's not in the complaint. Ms. Davis and Mr. Truckee have been discussing this case. It's my understanding they're going to reduce the charge to a misdemeanor charge of operating while intoxicated as a second offense. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, let me look at this complaint again. It's charged under 257-625, operating a vehicle on King Highway. The affidavit says that this is an off-road vehicle, like some sort of four-wheeler or side-by-side or something. There's a separate statute about operating an off-road vehicle, which is different numbers. In fact, I don't think it's even in the motor vehicle code. It's in some other section. It's MCL 324-811-3413. Anyway, so that may be more properly charged as driving an off-road vehicle. The punishment is the same. ORV second is also a 1-year misdemeanor. Maybe we'll discern what fits when we get more into the facts. Ms. Davis, is that your confirmation of the plea agreement?
That's correct, Your Honor. And the people would have no objection to sobriety court if she is screened and enters into that. And also there is an agreement that she will pay restitution. We're not certain on the amount of that. So we are willing to have a hearing if needed on that. And we've had contact with the victim, and she's aware that this has been offered. She is aware that she needs to get us her restitution information.
All right, and the complaining witness, her name is
Whitney
Yoder. Ms. Kopp, are you going to enter a plea to operating while intoxicated, either an off-road vehicle or a vehicle, as a second offense?
Yes.
Other than this plea agreement, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No.
Or threaten you?
No.
And you've signed the advice of rights acknowledging that you're giving up the right to have a trial by entering this plea?
Yes.
All right, let me see all I have here is an affidavit of probable cause. And I read it last week and then again yesterday and trying to get clear. October 23rd, 2112 is about 9 o'clock at night. Does that sound right?
Yep.
King Road and Krupp Road, that's officially kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Were you operating a off-road vehicle at that time and place?
Side by side.
All right, what brand?
Honda.
And do you own property out there?
No,
Where were you going?
was headed home.
From where?
The Leonidas bar.
All right, so you were at the county line bar, or I'm not sure what it's called now.
Our bar, I think.
Our place, Ross Trucky's
Our
place,
bar.
something like that.
Not anymore, Joe.
All right, it's had several names. And so you took your ORV up to the bar rather than drive a car.
Yes,
But did you drive down the public roadways to get there?
yes,
And you had someone in the vehicle with you?
yes.
And that was Miss Yoder?
Mhm.
And who is she to you?
A friend.
And what happened?
Just lost control and hit a tree.
Oh my. And they took your blood and sent it to the crime laboratory and it came back as 0.242. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And were you injured?
well, sore, but
I bet.
Yeah.
Was Miss Yoder injured?
yes,
Did they take her by ambulance?
yes.
And we'll learn more about the extent of her injuries. You live at Pinhook. That's quite a long way from there to Pinhook, like maybe 8 or 9 miles. You were going to drive all that way?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a driver's license?
I did then, yeah.
All right. It now shows that it's canceled. I'm not sure what that's about. Did you get confirmation from the Secretary of State that your license is canceled?
No, I just have.
I can't tell. In addition, the complaint doesn't allege what your prior offense was. It just says within 7 years of operating while intoxicated. It doesn't show where or when it was. So I looked at the warrant, or the warrant, and it also doesn't show when and where it was. So I looked at your driving record, and your driving record doesn't show a prior drinking and driving offense. It shows that your license is canceled. I'm not sure what that means. Did you refuse the test? Did they have to get a search warrant to draw your blood?
No.
All right. I'm not sure what that means. It shows operator's license canceled. Anyway, the previous conviction doesn't show up on your driving record. I looked at your criminal record and it shows a conviction from Kalamazoo County. Ms. Davis says it says Vicksburg Police from 2019. So do you have a prior offense from Vicksburg in Kalamazoo County?
Yes.
Somebody dropped the ball and it didn't get abstracted to your driving record, but they can get a certified copy of the conviction. So you do have a previous conviction, which is enough for second offense. You've been driving ORV back in like 2010 or 11, just not having it registered or something.
Well, I didn't. I've only had that one for a year.
Well, it must have been a different one.
I've never owned one.
Well, let's see here. Angela Jean Cup.
Oh, no,
Operate ORV on roadway or unregistered in
Oh,
May of
that was a
2011.
three-wheeler.
Oh, okay.
I'll note that Ms. Cup just had a birthday. I don't know if that's throwing off your license, what you're seeing. Her expiration date was just a week ago for her natural license expiration. It shouldn't show canceled, but just want to point that out. Could be
I don't know, but you should
I
find
got
out.
I got an ID.
You have a,
maybe,
you have a real ID,
Maybe that's what it was.
a
Yeah,
Michigan ID?
a Michigan ID.
So are you driving presently?
I have a temporary.
All right. This is real screwy. So you got the temporary paper
Yeah.
thing from the, all right, that, I'm not gonna dig any further. Anyway, Kalamazoo County should have abstracted that drinking driving to your driving record. They didn't. So when SOS looks at this, they won't see a previous conviction. When I first saw this, even though it was an off-road vehicle, I thought this would be appropriate for sobriety court. And I don't know how extensively the other person was injured. We had some of these before Ms. Davis got there, where there'd be these terrible injuries to a traffic victim and nobody even knew it. They charged somebody with like careless, I don't know, let's say leaving the scene of a property damage accident, and then you find somebody almost died. It happened more times than it should have, and I used to get my blood pressure up when it did, but I'm gonna learn the extent of her injuries. And what the restitution is. There are obvious red flags here. .242 at 9 o'clock on the night is a very high blood alcohol level. The fact that a previous offense is also a red flag. And so sobriety court, I think, could be a good fit for this. Ms. Cup, what do you do?
I work at a tractor dealership. I'm a service writer.
Which one?
New Holland, Burnup's Equipment.
Okay. Mr. Truckee, are you retained in this case?
No,
All right, I thought you were the full-time Leonidas attorney, and would you give her that?
I've visited the scene many, many times here.
All right, well, let's see here. Let's find a date to put this. We're gonna need to put it out a little bit. I would tell you, you can watch our sobriety court on the YouTube channel, but we don't live stream those. They're between me and my defendants and the staff.
Ms. Cup's done more AA meetings than anybody I've ever met, and I think she's really gonna fit well with the sobriety court program. That's
You need to meet more people. Eddie McKay's been going to AA meetings for 50 years.
I should say per day, right?
Oh, per day, all right.
I've seen a 50-year chip, and it's pretty impressive.
Are you okay for Wednesday, April 10th at, excuse me, Wednesday, April 9th at 10:30?
That appears good. What was the time again?
10:30. All right, I want you to take these two things out to the counter. They may want you to go down and see the probation staff to get started on this. We have our staffing this afternoon. And Deborah, I guess before we do the sentence, we'll figure out whether we're gonna use the numbers for ORV. The law says you're supposed to charge the narrowest crime that fits the facts.
I looked at the statute. Well, this was charged, like reviewed and charged by our chief assistant. And because we have that ORV permit where you can drive them on the roadways, and this was on the roadway, I think it fits more as a motor vehicle. It was being used as a motor vehicle versus being.
Because an ORV violation doesn't have to be on the public roadway. It could be on the back 40 and you flip over and injure somebody. So this is on the public roadway, so they charge it as operating a vehicle.
Yeah, I have not specifically asked Chief Assistant Robert, but that was
That was my view of it.
All right, yeah, this is on a public roadway rather than, and the other statute does not require, I suppose it could have been charged as that, but this, I'm not sure what that is point wise, and so we'll just treat it as operating while intoxicated, second offense in a motor vehicle on a public roadway. Now, when this hits your driving record, it's going to be a little confusing because the Secretary of State doesn't know about your Vicksburg conviction. Theoretically, what would happen is your driving privileges would be revoked. And the only way you'd be able to get a driver's license is by being in sobriety court. After 45 days, you could be eligible for a restricted license to get back and forth to work and treatment and school, other limited purposes with an interlock. Most of the people in our program are have an interlock. And there are a number of women in there that are doing quite well in the program right now. You seem like a good fit, but I'm not clear what the status of your driver's license is. It says canceled. So we'll have to sort some of that out as we go through to do the sentence. But the sentence is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 10:30, sobriety court. We had another guy this morning that looked like a real good fit for sobriety court, but he lives in Indiana. So I don't think he's gonna fit. All right. Mr. Truckee, if you take her out to the counter, they may want to send her down to see Autumn before she goes. Do you have any questions? All right. You're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem.
I don't thank you for anything.
Keeping us safe.
I was struggling with that case yesterday where the guy hit the covered bridge. Gary and I were both trying to figure out which way he was going and restitution. Maybe they'll just sue his insurance carrier, but I do not believe that the guy drove all the way from there to Vicksburg without realizing that he lost his cap, but it was what it was. All right, I'll close the live feed here.
Talked to Don from the road commission around the time that